the Coach Bryan Moore Show. I'm Margaret Ann Prater alongside Coach Bryan Moore. And I just want to remind you, you can find this broadcast on YouTube. And also, please tune in to the NFHS Network every Friday night to see our live broadcast from our broadcast team of Brad Sheets, David Robinson, David Evans, and Mark Mizell. Before we begin, I want to go over our sponsors, Coach, because we wouldn't be here without them. Life Church, Agency on Main, Marmac Commercial Real Estate, Peck Funeral Home, Eddie Pruitt Ford, Drake Eye Center, and Coleman Regional Hospital. Coach, let's just cut to the chase. You defeat Columbia 63-6, big region win. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but let's talk about the goals you set, because I know you're a goal setter. Yep. Did we achieve those goals?
Yeah, most all of them. The biggest thing, obviously win the game, be healthy, that was all good. Play a lot of kids, which we did. Every kid in our program played in the game that was healthy, and so that was nice. The second half was difficult because it was so fast. We did that because it was the right thing to do, but it was still difficult to get everybody in the game right there. Some of our starters played like 5 snaps, which was kind of wild. You felt like it was 4 or 5 drives, but a lot of those drives were one-play drives,
right.
And so it was a different night, I did want to say, though, with Columbia, I appreciate the job that Coach Lou Allen is doing there. I know he's a sort of a guy from around this area, and that's a tough gig. And he's doing right by those kids. I mean, they're better than they have been, and some little things he's trying to teach them and instill in them. That's just a tough spot for him in that program, but I appreciate the way that he goes about it and trying to serve those kids.
He's trying to do the right thing.
For sure.
Our Eddie Pruitt Ford player of the game is Zay Fletcher. Zay got his first 2 touchdowns of the season in this game. Talk about the type of coverages he's faced over the season. We know how talented he is. He's been up against some difficult players, some difficult situations in games.
Right.
If you want to just talk about his performance.
Yeah, it was good to see him get, in the end zone. I mean, that's something, kids are selfless and they're, trying to, be good team players and stuff, but it's hard when they don't score, and so I thought our coaches did a really good job with all of them of a ton of balance. Guys like Zeke McCann and Stennett Hageman getting in the end zone, and those guys, that's fun. Sorry to steal that.
That's okay.
But Isaiah has drawn a lot of attention from double teams and various coverages, and then really good players too, on top of double teams. I mean, the kid from Jackson Olin's really good. 7, the corner safety. He played Zay all night. He still had some catches and stuff, but it's been hard. People are backed off of him. Coleman was not going to let him get behind him. And so hopefully as we go forward, though, we'll find more of those opportunities. I think with the way that Eli's playing, that Landon Blackwood's playing, that Rye's playing, some of that attention is going to be taken off Isaiah, which then he'll have one of those breakout nights again.
That'd be great. Another thing I'd like to talk about are the young guys, because just like you said, everybody got in the game. Who are some names that we're going to be hearing, maybe not this season, but next season?
Yeah, I mean, I like offensively first. I mean, of course, Landon, next year will be our Q, and he's already getting reps there, and everybody kind of knows who he is. And, we've had this sort of formula with Jack, playing that second position last year and then becoming our quarterback this year. It gives him game experience. We play him on special teams and different things. Of course, Brady Holt had a big catch. Trammell Hurley's going to be a kid that, they're all 10th graders. Jace Meadows, Noah Lee. Noah Lee had a big 13-yard catch against Coleman. He came in for Isaiah, so we feel good about him spelling him, and he's a quarterback too. But we've done this. Our quarterbacks are good enough athletes to play another position and then finish at quarterback, which helps them, again, when they're in that role. And, some of our offensive linemen, Harrison Tapscott came in. He's got a little package he played. Of course, Ryan Abbott played. He's older, but hasn't played a ton, but is continuing to grow. Defensively, I like a lot of our young kids defensively. 10th grade group, of course, Jace Pruitt had a touchdown, had another fumble recovery that he should have scooped and scored. I said, man, would you like to score twice, please? Pick the ball up, And so, we've got a lot of those kids. And, of course, our freshmen, Cole Miles and Chris Hudson, and there's just an endless amount of those guys that are Jaden Morris, really good players that are going to be there for us. So it was cool to see them. Now, I will say this. Columbia had the scoring drive, and I never thought they could drive it and score it on our young guys. But it's different, and so that was good when that guy's 18 years old running the ball. Right. Even if the team is not great, he's still a grown man, as opposed to you being 14. So it's just different how you have to approach that. And I thought the game experience for them was pretty valuable.
That's awesome. It was great to see a bunch of different names, and I was going to try to highlight people, but the list is
There's 109 kids that played in that ballgame
exactly.
Friday night, so it's a lot.
But let's talk about a new addition, Lincoln Bryan. Yep. He's a late addition. Can you tell me what he's done as Rye's backup, how he's kind of gotten in the fold?
Well, Lincoln's story, is, he started as a freshman for us. I mean, he started the Briarwood game at free safety. And he's very skilled, state champion wrestler, baseball player, a catcher in baseball, and decided late that he wanted to play, And so, of course, I took it to our leadership council and, met with our players and said, hey, it was the Jackson Olin game, had 20 carries and was just fatigued. And I was like, we can't hold up this way, because we don't have another back. Gage Omby is going to be a back that can play for us, but he's not eligible until Bob Jones. He moved in a year ago, the week 10. So that will be a calendar year, and he'll be eligible, and he can play. But we needed help. And so Lincoln had approached me before the season started. I went to him and said, is this still something you're interested in doing? You kind of have to earn it. You're going to have to earn the respect of your teammates. But with them involved, with the kids involved, they wanted him around, and he's done a great job. I mean, he's learned fast. There's no ability issue at all. It's just a learning curve. Can I do this? And but it's been nice to have him. He had a big touchdown. He had two, one called back. And then the other one we moved over was Gage Roberts. He played there as a freshman last year, played DB for us. We slid him over to running back to give us some depth. We just were really thin, and it's been nice to have those extra bodies.
Well, and I love my stats, and the one that stood out to me was you had 305 yards of offense, but 8 touchdowns, offensive touchdowns. How does that work out?
And a lot of short fields, It
was scored by 7 guys.
Yeah, for the first time, so we do a deal, points per possession is an important deal for us both offensively and defensively. We've met that goal all 4 weeks. So for us, defensively, we want to hold them under 1.9 per possession, and we held them to 0.6 or whatever it was. And offensively, we had 7 points per possession, which is perfect, right? So the best you can do. That doesn't happen much, but yeah, I mean, we short fields, turnovers. The first snap of the game was a Trace got on the fumble, and then Drake Borden should have been a touchdown. It ended up at the 1, and we scored. Zeke scored the next play. So a lot of that going on. But again, it was good to get kids in the game, get through the first half, and then roll the second half, but to get everybody in.
But being a weeknight, school night, it was great for those of us who have kids.
No doubt,
the whole
all
crowd
of us.
getting everybody home at a decent hour. 2 moments on offense I wanted to highlight, mainly because of the reaction of your sideline.
Yeah.
And that was Zeke and Stennett.
Yeah.
Both guys got touchdowns. Both guys are usually blocking backs.
Right.
So what can you tell me about that?
Well, we do a thing on Sundays called championship plays when we come in. And so I bring the kids in and I do 10 really good plays and 10 really bad ones. And there's no direct order. I mean, they're just kind of all mixed in there. We talk about effort things. We talk about celebrating the success of our teammates. We talk about, caring about each other and it's showing on film. I used to tell the story. I had a back years ago at Opelika. And so on all of our plays, you can throw the ball off a tag or fade or whatever, or you can run the ball. Well, our quarterback kept throwing it for touchdowns. And at one point, finally, the back was like, what in the world? And you just see his body language really bad. He runs to the sideline. He's not happy about his teammates scoring. So I use that example when Stennett and Zeke scored. I mean, those guys went crazy.
The whole place went nuts.
But they've earned that, right? I mean, Zeke was a center, only touched the ball to snap it, and so then became a fullback, and we tried to get in the end zone last year, and finally for him to score was really cool. And then Stennett, same thing, and that could be something for us. You see that in the NFL sometimes. Short yardage, fullback dive stuff. That could be something we could grow into a little. Not too much right there.
If you asked him, it's every game.
For sure, yeah. He's added some things on his Twitter about being like the touchdown maker. And
exactly.
I don't know what's going on. I hope that we can kind of humble that guy, but I know Matt Prater will be glad to humble him today at practice.
Oh, I'm sure. We're going to take a quick break here watching Coach Bryan work.
We at Eddie Pruitt Ford are so excited about another great year of Friday Night Lights and Hartselle football. Go Tigers!
With our Eddie Pruitt Ford Player of the Week, Zay Fletcher. Zay, let's just start out. You had a great game against Columbia for when you were in there. You got your first 2 touchdowns of the season. So let's look back over the season. What's been your favorite moment so far? And that could be practice or game.
Probably my favorite moment was in the game against Columbia when Zeke scored and he just went buck wild. Like, he was so happy. That was his first one ever.
He's one of my questions today.
Yeah.
All right. You're not a super vocal guy.
Yeah.
But when I talk to all the players preseason, I'm like, who's one of the leaders on your team that you admire? They all listed you. So how do you lead without speaking?
Mainly by example, I guess, just stepping up when I need to and showing like my teammates how to get through a practice. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay. There's no doubt you're a premier receiver. But with that comes double teams.
Yeah.
With that comes cheap shots. With that comes defensive schemes targeted at you.
Yeah.
So what have you done to stay patient and keep a positive attitude throughout the season, knowing that that's what's facing you every time you step on the field?
Just doing what I have to do and like thinking about the process, just getting through the process. Because I know I'm gonna have big games and other people are gonna have big games, and if we just do what we're supposed to do, then we're gonna win.
And that the team's important to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, I ask you this every year. What's your favorite part of practice?
I'm pretty sure I already told you already, but it's probably the kickoff because I don't really have to do anything on that. I just kind of stand back there and just wait till the ball comes flying. So
Okay. We've seen lots of improvement from a lot of players. Okay.
Yeah.
And I asked this question last week of Trace, and I really liked it, so I'm gonna ask it again. So who's your sleeper? Who's the guy that when we're coming, well, I'm doing the show, getting ready for our playoff game, that we can say, you know, Zay told us back in week 4 that this guy was going to have some good games. This is who, you know, teams are going to have to start planning for. Who's that person who's going to have the breakout that we're not looking at right now?
I'm gonna say Eli Tibble because he really does put in the work for it. I think he should get more like attention towards him because he really does step up. He's a big leader for our team. I would have to say him.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that was great. You did a good job.
Thank
All right, we'll be right back. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show. We're back with the Coach Bryan Moore Show. Coach, let's talk about defense. I looked at the list of tackles, and I just clicked right on past it. Everybody had one.
Yeah. I mean, again, not a ton of reps from guys. The thing about it, I was really proud of, I guess. You know, I talked about, you know, Alabama and playing Utah State the week before and winning 55-0 or whatever, and just being totally focused, even when you know, the kids know. I mean, you know, we cut on that film. They know, you know, who we're playing and kind of the level. They've gotten to that point. I was proud of that defensively, that we came out, we played well, we were sharp, and we took another step forward. I said, you know, man, this is part of the progression for us right now is even if it's Columbia, you know, even if it's a mid-season type deal, we still got to get better this week, and I thought we did.
All right, let's talk about, there were 3 guys that I wanted to highlight, Drake Borden, Jace Pruitt, and Jaheim Pruitt.
Yep.
Not related.
Right.
Drake had a pick, Jace recovered 2 fumbles, and Jaheim blocked 2 punts.
Yep.
Young guys.
Yeah.
Well, Drake, what year is Drake?
Drake's a junior,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, this is his first year starting. So
Right.
I've been really proud first of our DBs. We've gotten our hands on the football a lot. I think we've had 6 interceptions maybe on the year. That's a lot in 4 games. All of them have had one too. Every DB that starts has had one. That's really exciting for them. Again, Drake, I was hoping would score that. Got to the 1. Jaheim, a freshman, he's going to be really special. You know, it was one of those deals we weren't trying to block the punt because we were way up, but you can't tell a 14-year-old not to go in there and, you know, do it. And so he blocked it. Jay scooped and scored it. That was good to see. Jaheim, you know, forces a lot of issues at practice, and he'll go and play tonight against Brewer, and it's just fun to watch him play. And he's a football kid through and through. Loves it. And, yeah, I mean, just proud of Jace, too, for scoring. Like I said, he would have had 2 probably had he scooped and scored the other one. Anything batted behind the line of scrimmage or fumbled behind the line of scrimmage, scoop and score it. So that was a teachable moment. But I think Jace is really progressing, you know, into a guy that can be in the rotation. Matter of fact, he's going to go on kickoff this week, be a starter because of how well he's played in JV games and varsity games.
And if you don't think special teams are important, you just needed to watch college and pro football this weekend. Oh, my goodness.
Right.
And we've talked about the young guys on defense. I'm going to go on to my next question. What can you say about the team keeping their intensity up throughout the game?
Yeah, I talked to him about that. I don't like for kids when the game is out of hand to be against the fence talking to their girlfriend or, you know, doing whatever. I want them to be engaged in the game. And my point behind that always is, you know, the young kids watch you. You need to watch them, right? This is role flip now. They're out there. Celebrate their success too, man, and enjoy it and coach them and, you know, just have fun. They sit there all year long and battle through practice, and they don't get that except for maybe a Friday night or two. You know, they don't get that very often. And so when they do, let's be there. Let's recognize that, and that's how you, I guess, create positive momentum within your program going forward. You know, those guys obviously getting the experience, but then also older guys saying that's, you know, great job. That means a ton. You know, they would never say it, but it does. And so they, you know, they've got to do that. And I thought they did a really good job of staying locked in.
That's great. We're going to talk about Gadsden City when we come back. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
At Marmac Commercial Real Estate, our focus is providing service second to none. If you're looking to buy commercial property, development land, income-producing properties, or a farm, call the Marmac Commercial team. We provide service second to none. You can reach us at 256-214-2196 or 214-2227, or you can find us on our website at www.marmaccommercial.com.
All right, this week's play of the game is a little bit different look at the player of the game. The play, or the receiver, is Rye here. What we call tear out of the backfield, all right, and throw him a swing screen. But the reason this is the play of the game is because Isaiah's here in the slot, okay, and you can see him. So they have a match call, so they're blocking 1 and 2, which will be from the sideline. So Eli's going to block the corner, and Isaiah's going to block the most dangerous threat. And the reason this is on here is because, you know, we talk a lot about being selfless and you know, doing things the right way. I mean, this is, you know, Rye's going to score right here, but Isaiah's really the key block. Watch him pin back. 54 is tracking inside out, so he can either take the safety or linebacker, whichever one gets there first. He sees him late right there. You can see him kind of see him out of his peripheral vision right there, and then pin back, and that's the block that springs him right there. I mean, Eli's got a great block up top as well, but Isaiah kind of picks him off. I'm not sure he catches him anyway, but, you know, a team with a little bit better player right there is going to run him down. Isaiah pins back. Okay, blocks him, springs right down the sideline. That's something people wouldn't notice, but that's the kind of player that we have. And then, of course, you know, Rye does the rest. He's really hard to catch out there. He's pretty fast. So anyway, but again, for me, you know, things like this is what makes you good and special, and this is what Isaiah does. This is great film for colleges for him because he'll do all the dirty work too.
I'm Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, and I'm here to tell you about the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. The versatility of the Big Green Egg is unmatched. It delivers big results as a grill, a smoker, and even an outdoor oven. Grill burgers, kebabs, steaks at 800 degrees, slow smoke a perfect slab of ribs, and even bake a crispy pizza. When the doctor cooks, I demand the best, and that's why I cook on the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. There he is.
All right, and we're back with Coach Bryan Moore. Coach, have you ever played a game at Gadsden City, and what can you tell us about the stadium? What are we walking into? I just put something on social media today about clear bags. Got to have clear bag to get in. What are we looking at?
Yeah, a cool environment. We went, I hate to say I don't remember the year. I was offense coordinator at Opelika, and we went, and it was old turf, and they've updated their turf, really nice field, super nice, right off the interstate. You can see it when you ride by. Super nice stadium. Coach Smith and I coached in the North-South All-Star game together. Is how we kind of built a relationship. Okay. And he coached DBs in that game. And so when the new scheduling came out, you know, we were looking for 5 games. I called him and said, any interest? Because I knew, you know, they were Region 8, coming down from 7A to 6A. I knew the type of players that they have over the years. I mean, NFL guys and a ton of guys at Alabama. I mean, just have really had a great deal going. And I thought it would be a good game for us. You know, a game to sharpen us, like we talk about all the time, different than our region, more athletic than our region. And so to go and play those guys on the road will be fun. And actually, you know, we've, like I said, matched with Region 8. I just watched, you know, them play Fort Payne, them play Buckhorn. So it's a little bit of familiarity there. But excited about that. I think it's going to be a fun environment. I think it's homecoming, which is interesting for them. Wow. That's great for me because that's a lot of distractions. I know what it's like to go through a homecoming week. But again, they do a really good job there. They'll be ready to play. Got really good players.
Well, and you know, you look. My next question was they're 2-2.
Yep.
But their 2 losses came to Hewitt and Carrollton, Georgia.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then, so they're 2-0 in the region.
Yep.
You might see them later on in the playoffs.
sure.
So what can you tell us about them?
Well, like I said, super athletic, huge up front on both sides. They'll go about 300 pounds up front on the offensive line, massive. D-line, the best we've seen probably since Austin and J.O. I mean, really, really talented. And then run great on the back end defensively. The return game stuff is a huge fear because a couple of their DBs, lightning fast. Drake Kirkpatrick's son that played at Alabama is on the team. He's a sophomore. He's a dude, of course. They're just good. I mean, the back can go and take it, 80 on you if you don't kind of cap things off and keep them underneath. 11th best receiver we've seen this year. Really good. Looks a lot like Isaiah. Runs routes like Isaiah. Somebody's really coached him up. It'll be a lot of fun. Like I said, it will be challenged in every way. And then, on top of it, their special teams are so good. They've got a kicker who's going to kick touchbacks. We've won that phase because we can, but they can answer that call, I guess. And the field position battle won't lean as heavily in our favor as it has been.
So how do they compare to Jackson Olin?
A little bit more organized. Like I said, pretty well coached. But very similar, especially D-line, front people, the way they can run and tackle. Probably a little bit better than them on offense. And again, Jackson Olin didn't have a receiver that was quite like this kid.
Like
again,
11.
as polished as
Right.
11. So, and then special teams not even close. They're not going to get themselves in trouble with penalties and things like J.O. So it'll be, they're better, significantly better in my opinion.
Okay. Tell us about what changes you're making to your pregame routine because you got, an hour and a half, hour, 45-minute
Yep.
trip here. So what's our pregame looking like? And then, you got Oxford followed
Yeah.
up, so you're practicing.
Yeah, no doubt. And then Muscle Shoals. So, yeah,
Right.
here we go. Charter. We'll take charter buses over. It's about an hour and a half trip. We'll leave about 1:30, get there around 3, eat in Rainbow City at Western Sizzlin'. That's an old Opelika establishment. Be good. We'll eat there, travel to the stadium, go through partner stretch and stuff. It's not going to be extremely hot. It looks like mid-80s is the high, and it'll sink down in the 70s for kick, which will be nice. Weather forecast looks great, so that's something to obviously take into account. So we'll partner stretch there, do all our band warm-up stuff, our activation stuff that Coach Holly does, and then we'll go through our meetings and pregame routine. Here we go. Our kids have handled all that stuff so well this year just because they're so much older, and
Right.
we don't take all of our freshmen anymore and travel. We have about 8 of them that go with us. But that's been nice too, I know for parents and everybody involved that those guys go to home games but not travel on the away. So we take a little bit smaller group. We don't take
Right.
109 of them.
109, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to move and eat, and I mean all that adds up. It would require another bus, so all that kind of deal. But yeah, it's easy nowadays for us. I mean, we've just done it so much, traveled so much that those kids have been through it and know what to expect.
Okay, well, good luck to you. We're going to be right back with our fan question of the week. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Hi, I'm Jenny Tankersley.
I'm Dwight Tankersley.
And I'm Rejane Hampton, and we're your agency on Main. Local realtors here to serve you. One of our team members will be more than happy to find you that perfect home. Go Tigers!
All right, and we're back with our Eddie Pruitt Ford fan question of the game, and I think you know where this is coming from.
I think I do.
I think we just need to start calling it the Dana McCutcheon question of the week. Yeah. But Eddie Pruitt they do sponsor us, so we want to make sure to give them credit. She said, what do you say to your team when you're up 60 at halftime?
You try and feed them some lines about staying locked in, and some different stuff. But again, mine was about finishing, doing it right. And then the young kids, you focus on them, but you let them have a little bit of fun. I mean, that was, there were some, when guys were told they were going to start the half or whatever, there's some guys that are pretty pumped about that. So you do that, but you let them have fun. I mean, you have to be realistic, and the kids just know what's going on. But I've never seen a halftime score like that. We certainly did not want it to be like that. But it was, anyway, when you block a punt and that sort of thing at the end and score a defense touchdown, it gets away quickly.
It does. All right, Coach, thank you for your time. But, hey, don't forget we've got the play of the week. I almost forgot the play of the week. That's our favorite part. We'll be right back. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Peck Funeral Home is owned and operated by folks who live in the same communities they serve. Our employees are the heart of our business. The funeral home proudly employs over 30 local individuals. Currently, the funeral home is managed by Jeff Halbrooks, who has held that position for over 20 years. Our goal is simple and has remained the same now since 1929. Peck Funeral Home strives to provide genuine service from the heart.
All right, this week in Hartselle High Athletics, on Wednesday, September 14th, 9th grade volleyball is going to travel to James Clemens. Thursday, September 15th, the high school volleyball team is going to host Coleman. Junior high volleyball is going to Danville, and 7th and 8th grade football, they're going to Florence. Friday, September 16th, we're all packing up and headed to Gadsden City to watch our varsity football team take on the Titans. Saturday, September the 17th, 9th grade and JV volleyball will go to Buckhorn for the Buckhorn Bash. HJHS is going to host a volleyball tournament here at HHS, and cross country is going to travel to Coleman for the Fairview Invitational. On Monday, September the 19th, 9th grade volleyball is going to go to New Hope, and JV and 9th grade football, we're going to host Coleman here at J.P. Kane. Tuesday, September 20th, volleyball is going to Addison, and HJHS volleyball is going to host Huntsville and Priceville, and that's this week in Hartselle High Athletics.
We at Eddie Pruitt Ford are so excited about another great year of Friday Night Lights and Hartselle football. Go Tigers!